I think everybody who's speaking is here, so yeah, let's get it going.
We are also, oh, as long as Alex has a stable video, we're all set to go.
Okay, cool. All right, so can we make this the main screen? Yeah. Okay. Is everybody seeing the flag as the main? Oh, we lost the video. There we go. Okay, so there should be an officer out there pretty soon to raise the flag. Welcome everybody to the strangest Pride Month flag raising that we'll hopefully ever experience. Yeah, thanks all for making time to come to this. I know that a lot of people are working like Elizabeth is, or they're in transit, or are just easing a little bit more slowly than we are back into being back at work. So to accommodate those folks, Matt's helped me out graciously with recording this whole thing, and then also we're gonna have it up on YouTube and be able to kind of post it wherever it needs to be housed, so that people can see this happen live. So the flag raising itself is going to happen around 12. I've been in touch with Jacob to have an officer out there doing that, so fingers crossed that happens in good time. And yeah, I guess we'll get started. So we've got a couple of speakers today. Myself, Henderson, who is the ex-Pride Society president this year. Andy's going to say a few words as well on behalf of the university as a whole. And unfortunately, nobody from the Students' Union was able to participate. They're all on their way back. And so like everybody's up in the air, literally in like an airplane right now. So they weren't able to join. And then for union representatives, Sylvia has agreed to say a few words on behalf of Unifor, and we're really grateful to have her here as well. And so maybe to kick us off, I'll say my piece, since I'm the one who brought you all here today. So like everybody else, I'm sure, we're going to start by acknowledging that we are located in Mi'kma'ki right now. St. FX is located on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. And I think whenever discussing topics of gender and sexual diversity, it is especially relevant and necessary and important to start with this acknowledgement, because the concepts that we're using today, the concepts that the existence of my office is based upon, the concepts that I do all of this educational and social and entertaining programming, all of the concepts that all of this is based on are settler colonial ways of knowing. And this way of knowing is rigid, it's quite limiting, it's harmful to everybody in different ways, but it's disproportionately harmful toward First Nation, Inuit and Métis people who have historically and continue to transcend colonial expectations of gender and sexuality. And so it's my wish that raising the Progress Pride flag, so to just quickly go over what that Pride flag means, it's got a couple of extra stripes that are set up in a chevron that is pointing towards the right. The stripes are black, brown, blue, pink, and white to represent people of color, as well as the trans community as well, especially trans people of color. And the direction signifies the forward movement that this community needs to make within the broader community, and the fact that these ways of knowing have really kind of prevented this community from making the same strides as white, queer, and trans folks have. And so I want this flag to kind of serve as a constant reminder today and throughout the month that colonization is responsible for the heightened rates of violence faced by queer and trans folks of color. I wish for it also to serve as a reminder to fellow settlers, especially those who are viewed as white, as non-disabled, as cisgender, or heterosexual through a colonial lens, that there's still much bias breaking, so much privilege checking, and so much systemic change and listening that we are responsible for in order to create, or at least begin creating, spaces that are safer for all members of the queer and trans community. And it's also, we're responsible for creating spaces that don't center those aforementioned attributes as the norm. And so this flag is a symbol of that, but it is not necessarily an action. This is not, the raising of this flag and the symbolism that it represents is not an action in and of itself. And we do need to do some serious work. And Pride Month, I think, is one of those things that St. FX is doing that is contributing to this work. Pride Month at X is a time of remembering, of acknowledging, of celebrating the community that came before us, that created Pride, that fought for the rights that we enjoy in Canada today, and ultimately led to the position that I currently hold. And this Pride Month, of course, will look a little bit different than years past, but I'm really grateful to be a part of it. And I'm really looking forward to bringing everybody some good educational program, maybe some social events and opportunities, and some entertaining, events and programming throughout the month. And yeah, I just, I'm happy to be here. I'm glad it's Pride Month once again. And I thank you all for coming today and agreeing to say a few words. And that's my 2 cents. So maybe Henderson, are you interested in saying a couple of words next up?
I got you.
Cool.
Ew, okay. So yeah, hi. As Claire mentioned beforehand, we are on the territory of Mi'kma'ki, unceded territory of Mi'kma'ki, and it is a privilege for us to be here, especially me being an international student. So I'm not a settler of Canada. I just was like, I just blip on over for school and blip on out. But I've been privileged to be not caught up, but involved in X Pride for going on 2 years now. This is my second Pride Month here. And last year was extremely different. We were all out there in front of the actual flags, and now we're all inside. But, it's warmer, but kind of sad. But, it is what it is. It's been a different year. It's been a long year. And we're in a new year. So hopefully this year, like last year was interesting. And there's a lot of programming that we wanted to do that we weren't able to get off the ground. We weren't able to get the interest. We weren't able to get the supporters, the numbers, and hopefully we'll be able to work towards changing that this year. I know for X Pride specifically, we're at a difficult period right now. A lot of our members who would normally be here are, elsewhere. So right now, to my knowledge, it's just me and Clayton helping out, or me helping Clay out, because Clay put all this together. So that's going to be a challenge, but hopefully, everything works out in the end. And like Clay said, we're raising the progress flag, and that's not a solution. It's just an action. It's just the beginning of what we have to do in order to bring equitable and giving equitable resources, equitable opportunities, equitable anything to anyone on this campus who's not cis, het, white, et cetera, who's not the norm. There's just a lot more work that we have to do. Like last semester, Megan was able to snatch the alumni lounge for us. And so that was great, getting that space that we could close off, keeping, not outsiders out, but just a space where we could all be ourselves inside somewhere. That was great. So that's an action, that's a start. But some other things that folks need to work on. We have a lot of people still dead naming other students on campus for their chosen names, even though the names are in the system. It's right there. They see it. They still choose to use their old names. We need to work on that. Profs who don't necessarily get it and don't want to get it. They don't want to learn. They don't want to do the work to actually understand the students that they're interacting with. Another thing that needs to be worked on, including all the staff members, security, et cetera, even folks in admin. I know you folks are busy and doing a lot as it is and trying your best, but everyone could always work to be better. So I'm glad that Clay has quite a lot of learning programming going on this semester for this Pride Month. So there's a lot of things that everyone can get involved in. And one thing I ask I'm going to ask personally from a lot of you here is to try and help promote those things to students. Try and help promote those things to students that you come across. Because like I said, we didn't get a lot of engagement. Like a lot of societies didn't get a lot of engagement this year. And that wasn't anyone's fault. That's just how the year worked out. So probably coming across students like, oh, hey, did you hear about this? Oh, what about this? How about this? This society, X Pride, GSDA office, blah, 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 all of the good stuff. And so, yeah, that's just my humble ask of everyone here to try and get the word out that these things are happening and still happening, even though it probably might not like look to be the case from a student's perspective. And yeah, happy Pride Month, everyone. Hopefully we have a great, smooth month.
Awesome. Thanks, Anderson. Sylvia, would you like to speak next? And then we'll close with our lovely president of the university.
Sure. Hi.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I wrote it, so I have to kind of read it because I'm not real good at remembering, so forgive me for looking down. I apologize for that. So good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank Clayton for inviting me to such an important event on campus. First, I would like to acknowledge that we are on unceded Mi'kmaq territory. I have always believed that knowledge is power that gives us an opportunity to understand what exists outside of our own bubble. I do not profess to understand everything that exists within the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, but I pride myself in being an ally and a supporter of diversity and equity. I've been a strong union representative for 20 years. I've spent many hours learning through Unifor's education programs. I believe they've made me a better person in my personal life and allowed me to influence my community around me. I do not believe that we are meant to fix things that may be different from what we are, as much as we're supposed to challenge ourselves to recognize that we all have a uniqueness about us that adds richness within a diverse community. Beyond my opportunities for education, I've had the pleasure of participating in political action within the union that demands equality amongst all members. Sexuality and gender identity should not determine whether you deserve a job, sitting equally amongst your peers, or live and work harassment-free in your community. As an example, Unifor has been lobbying the government to end the blood ban that unfairly targets the 2S LGBTQIA+ community. Unifor prides itself in working towards creating safe spaces for everyone. Unifor has a Pride committee that welcomes and values perspectives that exist outside of the cisgender heterosexual norm. There is an opportunity for the members to participate based on their support for the 2S LGBTQIA+ community and not necessarily be from the 2S LGBTQIA+ community. Unifor has encouraged its members to respect and use one's desired pronouns. It recognizes all aspects of gender and sexuality. It is important that the individual chooses how they wish to be identified. One's right to self-identify and one's right to self-identify and recognizes all aspects of gender and sexuality. I'm sorry, I'm extremely nervous and I don't know why, because this is not normally how I behave. I'm usually
doing great.
I mean, Andy knows this, right? So we also celebrate Pride Month in the Pride community through participation in Pride parades. It gives everyone an opportunity to celebrate being whom they are in a positive space. Our committees build floats and dress in Pride apparel with our brothers and sisters of the Unifor family. The union participates in most cities across the country. There certainly is opportunity for improvements in how the 2S LGBTQIA community is supported in Unifor, but it's open to hearing of improvements and encourages members to accept and support and nurture the 2S LGBTQIA+ community. There's no tolerance for harassment or discrimination of any kind at union events, creating a safer space for members to be active in their union and participate freely. I believe this also gives others an opportunity to learn and grow. For me, I'm a fierce advocate for equity and diversity. Everyone should be able to safely and happily exist in our world without experiencing harassment or discrimination. I am continually learning. I may not do it all right all of the time, but the knowledge I gain certainly gives me opportunity to make small changes that could have a very large impact. So on behalf of Unifor, have a happy and safe Pride. St. Novax. And I apologize for reading, but I would never, I'm too nervous to remember it all at this point. So it would have been a disastrous mess.
Oh my goodness. You're also on vacation, not like you had a spare moment to memorize that. Thank you for being here, first off, and representing Unifor. It's fantastic that you're here and we're able to say your piece. Thank you, Sylvia.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Andy, would you like to say a piece on behalf of the university?
Yes, I would. Thank you very much. Sylvia, your words were wonderful. Thank you for that. It was a pleasure to listen. And you said many of the things that everyone would want to say about this. And it's really good to hear that you have the support of what's happening on campus today. You know, you've already said the important pieces. This is so different in what we're doing every day right now. And yet we must take time to recognize such important milestones as this as we move forward. St. FX has to be a place where diversity and difference is celebrated and embraced. It's just not a question. We have to do this. We are a university and we are supposed to be a safe environment for all. We must do this. So as a university, we do wish to recognize and support the 2SL LGBTQIA+ community and the Black and the Indigenous communities. This is who we are. We are of the people. These are our people. And we need to celebrate this. And so when we raise the Progress Pride flag, it's one visual way for St. FX to say, look, this is one little way in which we're supporting this movement, this understanding, this embrace, this difference, this celebration of who we are as people. So it's an interesting flag in itself, though, and I did a little bit of reading about it. And you know, there's a lot of symbolism you can take from it. The chevron, the arrow, points that we have work to do, that we're not there. It points a way forward. And Claydon, Henderson, Sylvia, you've already acknowledged that we have work to do, and we can't forget about this. We have to educate people, we have to listen to people, we have to move their minds into greater acceptance of who we are and what we are as a community. The flag points the way forward. It points a forward direction, but it shows by being on the left-hand side of the flag, that chevron, that we have work to do. So the symbolism in this is really, really important. And I think that has already been mentioned. The programming that Claydon has mentioned, that Henderson has mentioned, are so important to our community as we think about what we need to do. And that's my acknowledgement. I acknowledge as the president of this university that we have more to do. This is good work. This is the work of a university to educate people, to move them forward. Thank you everyone for being here today and for taking on this responsibility. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Eddie. That was really well said. Yeah. And I think as a university, we need to disrupt that idea of difference even. What is normal? What do we define as normal? What is the definition, the etymology of the word difference in the first place? And who are we positioning? Who are we centering as the norm? And I think that this flag really demonstrates who we've been positioning as the norm for a really long time. And that we need to do the work to kind of disrupt this and understand where this is coming from and upset our biases and educate ourselves so that we can be an example for others in the community and who are related to this institution in some way, shape, or form. And so I really, really appreciate everybody being here and acknowledging this work that we need to do collectively as an institution, not just as my office, not just as equity seeking, offices or groups, but as a community that, X prides itself on being and on establishing this family aspect, this community aspect. is something that we need to lean on so hard and recognize more often that this isn't an individual effort. This is everybody's work, everybody's responsibility. And that it's time for us to step up to the plate and get involved and, you know, touch on some of the programming or come in for a couple moments just to like a positive space training session or any of the educational moments that, you know, I've coordinated for us this month on campus, or even just like the fun, hilarious moments that we've coordinated on campus too. I mean, there's going to be like a drag king coming in to teach us how to do some drag makeup and talk about, you know, his experience in the Halifax drag scene. Just exposing yourself to queer content, to trans content, consuming this content is only going to further normalize it and create more accepting and nurturing environments for folks who are not considered to be part of the dominant group or the normative group. And so I encourage you all to check out, you know, shameless plug, my Instagram or my Facebook, or to check out any of the fantastic resources that Student Life has put together. Just telling students kind of about what is available to them as they isolate. This stuff is also available to anybody who wants to attend. It's mostly over Zoom. And I'd really, really love for anyone and everybody to be there. So with that being said, I think we're approaching the moment where this flag may be raised. Maybe Matt, if we could make this the main screen so that we could wait the 60 seconds or less until this flag is raised, and then I'll let everybody get on with their days and you know, enjoy the beginning of Pride Month. Maybe I can put this here, hidden video. Yeah, okay, so we got some security officers out there. Looks like they're getting ready to go. I don't know what their clocks say. Mine says 11:59 though.
We can't see that, Clayton.
Sorry?
We can't see that.
Oh, you can't? Oh, sorry. Okay, let me see.
For anyone that's looking for it, if you navigate over to SU Marketing on your grid view, there'll be 3 dots and you can select to pin their video.
Mm-hmm.
And that will put it as your main screen.
Okay.
Is there any way, Matt, as the host, that you can...
I'm just looking into it now. I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can push that to everybody.
Okay.
No, that solution works. That's good.
Awesome. I'm so glad that we got some snow. Looks beautiful. All right, yay.
Wonderful. There you go.
Need to have some majestic music or something playing. I don't think there's like an agreed upon Pride national anthem or anything like that, but awesome. Well, there it is, folks. The Progress Pride flag raised for the first time at St. FX. We had one last year to kind of take with us to events, but now we've got one flying for the rest of the month. And I know that security can't hear me. The officers out there can't hear me, but thank you to Jacob and his team for coordinating this with me and making this happen. And thank you everybody for tuning in today. I know it's a little weird, a little disjointed, but you know, what matters is that we're together in theory and that we you know, have this flag raised for the rest of the month. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can figure out how to share the calendar right now on my screen, but it is on my Instagram and it is on Facebook, and I will be putting it out on Listserv as well. So yeah, we'll chat with y'all when we're, you know, around in person or in Zoom meetings or whatever. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Take
Bye,
care.
folks. Have a good day.